Welcome everybody to Meet with Cheese Metaverse interviews. I'm your host, La Drop with Cheese, coming to you always from the Metaverse. Today, I have some exceptional guests that I hung out with last week and met at the very first ever Ordinals conference. And then we partied together on a rooftop in South Beach at Skyyard, Miami. I present to you Mac and Jake. They are the founders of the Anonymous Bitcoin Club. Thank you so much for being my guest today.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, so tell me a little bit about your background and how you came along this journey into founding the Anonymous Bitcoin Club.
Max, the original founder, let him take it away.
Yeah. So I started drawing this project, this collection, at the end of 2021. I was kind of going back and forth on what chain I wanted to launch on, being that a lot of my art is reflective of Bitcoin, Satoshi and the group Anonymous. And I just felt that it wasn't the right time to launch. So I held on to it. I kept drawing throughout all of 22. And then finally Ordinals appeared, earlier this year in February. So I decided this was where I wanted my project to be. So I went into the Ordinals Discord and I went into a chat called Dev Chat. And there's a lot of developers in there talking about, the protocol and everyone's trying to figure things out at that time. And one guy approached me. I inquired, for a developer. One guy approached me and he said he can help me launch. I asked him, what his rates were and fees, and he said absolutely zero because he believed in, the ordinal movement. And I was like, okay, this is insane. So I just felt like it was a different type of community. So about 3 or 4 days, went by, and him and I were going back and forth, conversating on how we're gonna, launch this project. And so I sent him 250 pieces of my art. I also sent him 0.0458 Bitcoin, which was a little over $1,000 at the time, for inscription fees. And I sent him all that, and he said that we were good to go. Everything was ready, and I can, begin looking for buyers. And immediately, like shortly after that, Jake actually DM'd me. He was one of my early members in our Discord. I only had 4 at the time, and I think we're almost at 400 at this moment. But he was, in the top 4 at the time, and he said, "Hey, I want to buy some pieces." I said, "Great, let me connect you with the developer because he has the ordinals in his wallet. We can do the transaction. Here's the wallet and everything else." And just as things were going along, he sent over the first ordinal over to Jake, and Jake was like, "What's going on here?" And I questioned him, like, "I don't, like, what do you mean?" And he said, "There's something not right about this because I'm just getting, several bundles of 10,000 Satoshis, but there's like no ordinal, there's no image on them." And I was like, "You know what? Honestly, I don't know." And he's like, "Well, ask the developer this." So I started asking the developer questions. I was kind of the middleman in the conversation. So Jake would, propose a question. I would, relay it over. And it didn't take long enough for Jake to call it out for what it was. He said, "This guy's he's a scammer. Like, he doesn't know what the hell he's doing. You know, this sucks." And I agreed. It felt terrible because I feel like this was the moment for this project to actually be released and, people to get eyes on it. And it started off like this. So Jake was like, he put his neck out for me and this project. And he said, "You know what? I'm willing to put up my Bitcoin and put up my developer experience, and we can do this together. We'll be partners on this project." I agreed 100% and said, "Yeah, let's do it." And then we just been building and grinding ever since. So this is where we are.
Hell yeah, man. That is an amazing story. Like, this is how great things are accomplished in life, is just believing in each other, going all in. That's awesome, Jake, that you did that. And tell us a little bit about your background and, how you came into this space.
While the whole entire space I've been watching for a while, and you always feel late no matter how early you get in. For Mac's specific story, I've been following him as an artist for a while, and I was actually waiting on him to drop this collection. So like for it to drop and then have the snafu at the beginning, I was kind of like, yeah, this is not happening. We're getting your art out here. I've been waiting for it a while. I know other people are going to appreciate this art. Let's build a community around it. And since the hack, we've basically been decided to build it around education and anti-scam, and like just helping people not to get scammed, and educate them to where they know what scams are and stuff like that, like, and just general Bitcoin information too, because there's a lot of people that are coming into ordinals that have never dealt with Bitcoin before. They don't know about UTXO models versus how Ethereum works and stuff like that. So we're here for all the questions.
Yeah, that's great, man. I love it. And so what is like the, anonymous Bitcoin club community? You said it's education and anti-scamming and Bitcoin education, but like where do you see it going down the road, a few years from now? Like what do you want to accomplish as like a group?
Well, we are currently working in some collabs with other art, but also other tools and resources for education. I don't want to go too in depth with that, but basically, classes. We're gonna have some classes where you take this little course, you get a reward, like an ordinal or something. So that's one of the things that we're working on.
Yeah, I think a long-term goal of ours is to be a strong foundational project where we have like-minded individuals a part of this project, trying to make connections with white hats to educate our community with OPSEC and privacy. And I've already reached out and spoke to several people about this. So essentially we want to be a hub for anons. So if you want to protect yourself in any way, or you want to secure a network in any way, learn about Bitcoin in any way, this is the place to go. And I think the small community that we have now are very strong. They come with a lot of questions. They give us a lot of answers. They have a lot of resources, and they're very interactive. And I feel like the more and more people we bring into the project that are that way, the stronger we're going to be. I mean, we even have an open source website where people can actually go onto this website, add content material to it, and that's it. Just we're all just building together in this part.
Yeah, all about btc.com. I have it on a VPS that updates from the GitHub every 24 hours. So any PRs that get merged on the GitHub, every 24 hours the website's updated. We had ordinal miners. They added the mining simulator on there. It's all very basic right now. It could use some CSS upgrades if anybody wants to, but it's all open source, free Bitcoin information. So
Yeah, that's awesome, guys. I love what you're doing, and I really like meeting you at the conference, and I'm glad we ran into each other again. But we were all part of history, the very first ever ordinals conference, and
yeah,
we're part of 150 people, less than 150 people that actually attended that conference. So for everyone in the world that wasn't able to go, tell us a little bit about your experience at the conference.
you want to go first, Mac?
Yeah, sure. I mean, it was my first ever conference I've been to. So anything Bitcoin related, this is my first time. First time meeting Jake in person. First time meeting other members, within the ordinal space. So at first I was very nervous. I wasn't sure exactly where this was going to go. But actually being there and being in the presence of other people who had extremely similar interests as me, it was a different feel. Because where I currently am, I'm the only guy here that's interested in this stuff. So actually connecting with people and having conversations with other artists and developers and everything else, it was a great feeling. And it was also cool to actually walk into the conference room and people were kind of looking at us like, what are these guys doing here? Like, why are they wearing this mask? And then Jake and I were standing on opposite sides of the room. It looked like we were security guards or something. And some of the speakers were up on the stage and they would talk, they would begin talking, and then they'll kind of see one of us and stop or like pause on their, mid sentence, and then like, continue on with what they were going to say. So it was, it was a great experience. I feel like we had a pretty good network effect, considering we're a two-man team.
Yeah, that was, you guys were definitely like one of the featured guests, whether that's unofficial or not. It's
Right.
definitely,
That was
amazing.
the goal. That was the goal.
Yeah.
We came down there to make a statement, and I feel like we did. It felt very natural being down there, honestly. I remember telling Mac, because I wasn't even sure how I was going to get down there a week before, because my car like had broken down. I ended up buying a new car basically just to drive down to Florida instead of flying, because I had 100 Anon masks that I was like, I can't fly with these. If I'm not on a list already, I'll be put on one. And so
Yeah.
I got a car, I drove them down there. We gave away 90 out of 100 of the masks for free, just to anybody that wanted them. And then on the way back, Max said he got his confiscated, or he had to throw it away.
I did at the airport. I left Friday morning. I was only there for the day for the Ordinals conference. I left Friday morning, went through security, and they're like, "What is this? Either you can leave it here, or we have to take you to the other room." And I was like, "Well, I'm gonna leave it here because I got to get home." So, so yeah. So when I got home, I bought even more masks. So this is one of my newer masks here. I got another 4 or 5. So I'm stocked up.
That's great. Yeah. I'm sorry that happened at the airport. That's just, corporate systems, governments kind of, it's just, they categorize everything because they don't know what it is, and they don't want to participate in regulation of blockchain, and we're falling behind. But that's a whole nother, we can have that conversation some other time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got the same feeling, when I went to my very first like NFT or Web3 conference, because I'm like big into NFTs, like minting, collecting, all of it. And the very first NFT NYC I went to, I was like, oh my God, this is where I was supposed to be all year, because they're minded individuals, and it was nothing but love, and like met so many great people that I'm still really close with a couple years later. So yes, I'm glad you guys had an amazing experience there.
Yeah, I had longer time there than Mac did. I got to go to the Bitcoin conference and everything. That was a whole nother experience. I got to meet Lucio Poletti, which was insane. I got him to sign my mask even. That was a whole nother experience, because I got a picture with him and I sent it to Mac, and I'm at the Bitcoin conference and Mac calls me up. He's like, "You met Lucio Poletti?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I did. I'm still meeting other people though. I gotta go." And like we just hung out, like it's so funny.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I hope next year Mac will stay a little longer for the actual Bitcoin conference. it was amazing meeting everybody, like, and just hanging out, all the experiences, and
yes. And next year, the Ordinals conference is going to be even bigger, and you're going to have, the community is going to grow. Your community is going to grow by then, and it's going to feel like a reunion every year is kind of what some of these are like. And it's a great time to be in. We're still early. But as far as ordinals go and other blockchains trying to inscribe their blocks, do you see?
Oh my goodness.
Do you see inscribing blocks on chains being a big thing, or is it only going to be more a Bitcoin thing?
Well, other chains already do on-chain stuff. Like there has been on-chain on Ethereum and stuff before. It's just not the same, I feel like. Like Bitcoin has the most secure network in the world,
Yes.
So like, how can you compete with that? Like,
right. And I guess the question is more like, I talked to Tezos developer, and he's like, we could do ordinals, we just aren't doing them yet, or no one has chosen to go down the path with that chain. And if there's a big success and a lot of revenue coming in around Bitcoin ordinals, do you think other chains are going to try and do it and fail?
Yeah, I think it would just be failed attempts. Yeah.
I mean, a couple examples are like Litecoin. They did ordinals. I don't even know what number inscription they're at. Haven't heard much hype about them. Dogecoin, same deal. Not the same sentiment as launching ordinals on on Bitcoin. So I mean, I feel like other chains they can release ordinals or launch ordinals all they want. It's all about network effect, and I think all of us or most of us can agree that um, we can stray away only for so long, but we always end up coming back to Bitcoin.
Yeah,
So,
that's what my pinned tweet's about. Yep.
yep.
Yes, very true in this space that we're in. And so the day of the Ordinals conference, we ended at Sky Yard, Miami, roof party. Love that place, by the way, a great party. But you ran into Allie Weiss, and I got to talk to her the next day. But how was that interaction with her?
At the party was really cool. We talked for a while. We had fun, got some pictures. After the party, me and her were supposed to do an interview, and we kept trying to connect up everywhere, like the Bitcoin conference and this party, and it just never worked out afterwards. So, but I mean, she seemed really cool. Best advertisement we could have asked for.
Yeah, I didn't get that much of an interaction with Ali, other than seeing her wear one of our masks, and she was taking selfies, and I decided, hey, I'm gonna take a picture of her and taking her selfie, and she just looked like Lady Anon. So I I crowned her our Queen Anon on Twitter. I probably should have asked her for her permission before I donned her that title, but I mean, it is what it is. We didn't ask her to wear the mask. She picked it up, voluntarily. And just as the night went on, she wasn't the only one picking up a mask, and it was pretty neat just to see more and more people either holding it in their hand or actually wearing the actual mask and hanging out at this after party.
We saw a
So
couple people that put the mask on backwards, so it was like on the back of their head too.
yeah, very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that definitely, you guys there with your energy and everyone being involved in the mask, like definitely elevated the entire day, not just the party, but like the conference itself. It's awesome that you guys, are talking to me now. I'm glad we got to meet. So Allie Weiss is the queen of Anon, right? That's what's going on here. So
That's
congratulations.
what I'm calling her.
Whether you
Yeah.
like it or
Yeah, whether you like it or not, she's the Queen Anon. So
yeah. So how can we purchase, or how do we get into the Discord? Can anyone join the Discord, and how do we like a ordinal in your collection?
You want me to handle it, Mac, or you got it?
yeah, go for it.
All right, so any Discord is completely open, free to join. Links are on our Twitter. To purchase an Anon, it's all OTC with us. So like you just open up a ticket in Discord whenever you're ready. We give you an address to send to. You send in it's 0.01 per an Anon, so you can send in multiples of that. If you want 3, you send in 0.03, and then we send Anons to your Taproot address of your choice if you want it all to one address or different addresses or whatever. We like doing the OTC method because we get to actually interact with all of our buyers. We have a whale that bought 15. We know exactly who that is. So it's more personal in our opinion, as opposed to just throwing them all on a website and letting anybody just get what they want free for all.
And I think the great thing about that, being OTC and us actually interacting with buyers and new members, is that those people that have bought, they are active in our community. Like they don't just buy one and disappear. They come back, they have questions, they have content, they have material that they want to share with us. So it's very personable, even though we are Anonymous Bitcoin Club and we want to keep everyone's, identity private and, encourage their privacy. It's a good feeling knowing that there's people like that who want to actually spend their time and vibe with us. So
well, yeah, that's awesome. Join Anonymous Bitcoin Club, guys. I would like to get in. I will check out the Discord and get in on this collection. I feel like we're already, you know, part of the same community, like-minded people anyways. So it just makes sense. And I just want to say thank you so much for your time today, guys. I'm looking forward to seeing you at least at the next Ordinals conference, which is going to be in Nashville on the
Right.
day before Bitcoin conference. So thank you so
All
much.
right. We appreciate you having us.
Yeah,
Anytime,
appreciate you very
if
much.
anybody ever has any questions, we're always in the Discord.
Yep, we are.
Thanks
Yeah,
again.
thank you again. Thank you.
Yeah, it was good seeing you again. I
Yep.
love his energy.
Yeah.